Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Hope you all are doing well and that you found us easy to find. I know we sent out a nice little map about parking and a few things like that. So on behalf of the associations of North Carolina NENA and North Carolina APCO, just want to welcome you all here to our first bi-monthly chapter meeting of the 2022-2023 term and to the beautiful town of Hendersonville. We're grateful to the Hendersonville Police Department and to Monica Howard over here in her red shirt, who is our host, and all of their staff and the chief here. And before we get started, and I asked the chief to step up, sorry, Zoom is getting fired up and writing right over my screen. All right. So for those of you that are here in person, we hope that you'll stay with us later today for our lunch. Monica's gotten us some good local food here that's going to be great. And then after that, our training that will get started on health and wellness for Rick Baker and for Monica as well. So we want to thank our corporate partner, Horizon Consoles of the SBFI Group, for sponsoring our lunch today, and to Monica and Rick for providing the training later today. So with no further ado, I'd like to welcome Chief Mahan to the podium to say a few words before we get started.
You want me to put it in here?
Yeah, that's what's streaming online. If you don't mind, please.
Well, thank you so much. Welcome to the city of Hendersonville. I promise that we won't ticket or tow any of your cars, and if they do, you'll have to go to the patrol captain because I'm going to Tennessee in a few minutes. Hopefully there won't be any issue. So again, welcome. You know, this is a brand new building that y'all are in. You know, we're not even a year in here. I'm really excited to see this room is filled to capacity and it's working the way that it was designed. And I hope that y'all find it very enjoyable. Monica said you're getting Daddy D's for lunch. You will not find that anywhere else. And I may change my travel plans and join you for lunch because Daddy D's is pretty outstanding food. So please enjoy that. I heard somebody here is from Wilmington. Who's all the way from Wilmington? Did you drive through South Carolina to get here? That is kind of weird, right? You got to go to another state to get here from there, but Hendersonville is one of those places you can't get there from here, you know. But you got to go around the mountain to get here. But it'll all be downhill on the way home. So, you know, I've been the chief here for about 18 months, and I came from the eastern side of the state as well, so I didn't know what I didn't know, and it's a pretty incredible place. You know, people complain about it being hot when it's like 85 degrees, and thinking, no, this is pretty nice. So we've got great weather, great town. Please spend a lot of your money downtown. We would really appreciate it today. We would like the revenue from that. But Monica's going to be a tremendous host. I'm sure most of y'all know her, and you know, I welcome y'all. Wish y'all a great time while you're here and while you're doing this. I know there's a couple faces in the back of the room that I know very well. So y'all enjoy yourselves and stay out of trouble. Right? That's what the Raleigh chief told me last week when I was in Raleigh. So I said, no problem. I got it. We'll be quiet. But again, thanks for coming and using our facility. I hope you find, you know, the parking wasn't too bad. I hope you find everything that you need here in town. So if you haven't been downtown to Main Street, it's a pretty nice place. And it really is. I think you'll find that it's probably one of the nicest downtown of any town here in North Carolina that I've seen anyway. So again, welcome, enjoy yourselves, and if you need anything, Monica or Tiffany here will be able to take care of y'all and get you what you need. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll get started and call our North Carolina NENA chapter meeting to order. To get started, I'd like to just go ahead and introduce everybody you see up here. We've got a few new faces that you'll be introduced to later on today as well. I am the chapter president of North Carolina NENA this year, Jason Compton, and to my right is Ryan Chambers. Second VP, Rick Thomas, is not able to be here. For those of you that are a little more familiar with our regular meeting schedule, we're pushed back a week this month, so some folks had some pre-planned engagements Immediate past president Alan Press is with us virtually, I believe, this morning. Our chapter treasurer Jameson Sears is with us virtually. Our chapter secretary Candy Miller is here with us this morning. And then I will introduce our region directors. So Western Region Director Brian Drum is up here. Sorry, I'm not sure where everybody's sitting. Our Central Region Director Corey Bodie is here. And our Eastern Region Director Bill French is here. All right. So also not with us today is our corporate partner and advisor Jennifer Taylor from Horizon Consoles. She's got a couple of her colleagues here, I believe, but I will call them out. And we have our North Carolina 911 Board Representative Donna Wright, who is also able to be with us due to a previous engagement, and our board member at large, Victor Williams, who I believe is also with us here virtually today. So with that, we'll move on to our recognitions. If you are a member of the NENA Hall of Fame, please stand up or raise your hand so everybody can see you. I think we've got some past presidents here as well. EMPs, emergency number professionals, raise your hand, give away. Yes, ma'am, EMPs. All right. And CMCP graduates, yeah, I'm sorry, nobody can see you on the screen, so we won't make you stand up and wait. Okay. And then any first time attendees here? No. Thank you, Corey. Center Manager Certification Program, CMCP graduates. We've got one up here with us, got two in the room. Thank you, guys. And then also with us today, we have two members of our National NENA Board. We have Melanie Jones here. I got it right that time, so be proud of me. Our National Second Vice President, and joining us virtually as well is Cassie Lowry, our Southeast Region Director. And before we get started, Corey just reminded me that I skipped right past the Pledge of Allegiance, so I'm going to step out from in front of the microphone. If everybody will rise, we have a flag over here. We'll do our pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the minutes from our previous meeting are posted via the National NENA membership roster listserv online. And we have our treasurer's report from Jameson Sears, who is joining us virtually. And give me just a moment while I mute our sound in here. And Jameson, if you're able, you'll just unmute in just a second.
Can you hear me? Okay, in our checking account, we have $5,759.22. Savings account, $33,649.57. And we have a total of $39,408.79.
Brian, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll move right along to our National NENA report, and so that we don't have to switch back and forth here between the podium. I believe Melanie's going to report first on her a joint report from Donna on on North Carolina 911 board stuff, and then we'll have her and Cassie comment on National NENA. And Melanie, if you have anything else to add in there, you feel free while you're here.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm going to touch on some highlights from Donna and I both for the state 911 board activities first. And since Posey's online, if there's anything that's updated more than what I have, hopefully she'll correct me on it. So from the technology committee, there are only 3 PSAPs left in the state, and then all will be on the EZNet. Currently, there are 113 PSAPs that are live or I-3 ready, and there are only 2 left. The staff and committee chair are working on partnerships with the military installation for Fort Bragg, Camp Lejeune, Seymour Johnson, to become the first military installations in the country to be part of the 911, next gen 911 system. Excuse me. North Carolina Emergency Management is also in the process of onboarding to the state's EZNet. Hope any corrections or updates to that part?
I had to find the unmute. I will go ahead. Am I muted?
No,
Can you hear me?
we hear you.
Okay, let's go ahead and do kudos for Department of Emergency Management. They will be the first in the country as well to become part of a statewide, first emergency management department statewide to become part of the EZNet. And while we're talking about the numbers of PSAPs, Melanie, we have been talking 127, and that's how we will finish the project using that as the statistic, but actually we are now at 125 total. We've had 2 consolidations over the course of the EZNet project, but we're going to use 127 to finish out the EZNet project, but we really are 125.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So the grant committee, the latest grant cycle closed on May the 31st. The applications have been reviewed and the PSAP presentations have been done. The grant committee is expected to make their recommendations to the state 911 board at the August 26th meeting in Greensboro. The standards committee has 2 subcommittees, which one is the rules and PSAP review subcommittee, and the second is classification of PSAPs subcommittee. There is also information and IFB for bid for PSAP reviews that will close on July 29th today. It is anticipated to be awarded no later than October the 10th. Part of this project is to also add a couple of staff members who will transition to completing PSAP reviews at the completion of all reviews done by the vendor. Any update on that, Pokey?
Sorry, mute button again. No, ma'am, you're good with that. Just everyone know that once the vendor is selected, we will be hosting meetings. That is part of the vendor selection or vendor IFB. They do have to host the regional meetings. Like everyone knows, we have that's been our mantra. Everything we roll out, we do a regional meeting to do that. So we'll be doing the same thing with this, so folks understand what the assessment, and that's what we're calling it now. That's the word we've coined for this, assessments. So we'll be introducing how the vendor will do that. Then in parallel, we will be doing the advertisement for the new staff member. More than likely, that staff title is going to be PSAP Assessment Coordinator. That's up in the air though.
All right, thank you. From the funding committee recommended and the board approved an updated cap for chairs to be $2,200, an updated cap for PC workstations to be $2,300, and they approved CAD-to-CAD cloud subscriptions. If only used by eligible functions, it will be covered at 100%. If it is any other uses that are ineligible, such as running RMS or jail on it, it will only be covered at 50%. The committee has published a draft of updated eligible expenditures list. NENA and APCO hosted a discussion yesterday. All comments are due by 5 p.m. on Monday, August the 1st. Make sure that any responses that are done, you complete the form that was sent out by Pokey last Friday. The Education Committee recommended and the board approved sponsorships for the 2 pre-conference classes that were held before the North Carolina Public Safety Communications Conference in May. The committee continues to work with community college for course credit that will lead to a degree in public safety communications. That is the 911 board report. Pokey, do you have anything to add?
Yes, ma'am. If you'll indulge me, I have just a couple other things to add. Yes, please make sure the deadline on Monday for the questionnaire, so we have time to get all that compiled before we go back to committee for review. The month of August is up on us, so that is for reconsiderations. So this cycle of funding reconsiderations due August 31. If you need any information, get with your PAT, your PSAP assistance team, which is your regional coordinator, funding review specialist. Get with them. They'll be more than happy to walk through the process with you to meet that deadline. Also, right after August is September, and that's revenue expenditure reports will be due. And Melanie, if you'll allow me just to, I know that they're in another training this morning, but Sarah and Kristen have worked feverishly to get the revenue and expenditure reports up to date. So for this coming fiscal year we're in, the reviews for those are going to go so much quicker than they have in the past. So I don't have the emoji here to do the clapping, so I'm clapping. And y'all can't see me this morning. My camera's not where it needs to be. PSAP managers meeting. I'm hoping everyone has registered for that. We got the rooms taken care of. We've got the head count for food. If by chance you're only attending, you're a day attendee and didn't think you needed to register, there was an email that went out to those individual PSAPs we've not heard from this morning. Please get back to Sarah and Kristen, let them know. We've got to have a head count for food and the like for the hotel. That is the 25th and 26th. I know Melanie will keep me honest on the dates. It is a jam-packed agenda. And jam-packed, I mean jam-packed. We've got like 15 topics, about 20 or 30 minutes per topic of relevance to the PSAP community. A big focus on mental health and well-being. We think that's very, very important. We're going to be feeding everyone who's going to be in attendance. So if you provide food, that's a good thing. But also the board meeting that Friday morning, in order for your registration to be covered, which is your food and your lodging, you do need to attend that as well. And then Melanie, the only other thing I will mention, and Christine had contacted me about this, is the 988 initiative that launched on the 16th. Just so everyone knows, that has no impact on your PSAP. This 988 is simply the 3-digit number for the 10-digit access to the crisis center, National Public Safety, National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Sorry. So there's no change on your end as a PSAP manager, unless you so elect. Somewhere along the way, you've been having conversation and discussion with the center for some changes with your interaction with them. So again, 988 brings no changes to the PSAP. It's just a way for those folks who need help or their loved ones need help for them, that they can reach out quickly. Melanie, that was all the notes I jotted down. You've got everything else.
All right, thank you, folks. And I do want to recognize Stephanie Connors is here today. She is part of the 911 board staff, so we're happy to have you with us today, Stephanie. Thank you. Before I move on to the National NENA report, does anybody have any questions about anything I shared for the 911 board? All right, thank you. So for National NENA, we do have the Next Generation 911 Standards and Best Practicing Conference coming up in January. It will be at the end of January, but we do not have a firm date and location yet, but we will have it by the end of next week, and NENA will push that out when they confirm it. The 911 Goes to Washington event, if you want to go ahead and put it on your calendar, this is one of the best events that NENA hosts each year. It is February the 26th to March the 1st. And it is in Arlington, Virginia again this year, where they're housing people at the Ritz-Carlton in Pentagon City. That is a full 2.5 days of walking. Please take comfortable shoes. You meet with your congressmen and senators. And it is a very, very important event so that they know who you are and will come see your PSAP. That is how we got in for our congressmen and senators to visit us. And it is really, they come visit, they want to see what you're doing. The NENA 2020.
If I could add something about the 911 Goes to Washington, we just saw this week what came out from both the House and Senate side for the funding for Next Generation 911. So those visits are powerful. those
Yeah.
visits have impact.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep, we may go for North Carolina. Fortunately for North Carolina, we go asking for other states primarily because our project is so far along. But we got notice this week of the set aside monies, of course, out of the auction, but we've made an impact with those visits.
Sure. The 2023 NENA Conference Expo is June the 17th to June 22nd. You want to go ahead and get it on your calendars. That is in Grapevine, Texas. And they will open the call for papers later this summer. So if you would like to present, go ahead and get your presentation ready and submit it when they open up the call for papers. NENA now has more than 18,000 members. It is the most we have ever had. We are very excited about that. And we look forward to hopefully passing the 19,000 mark this year. So if anybody is not a member of NENA, I would highly encourage you to join up. There are many membership benefits. You can do an individual membership, or if you have an agency that can bring many on, you can do group memberships. We benefit from the group membership at Guilford Metro. So I did get an email yesterday, and I'm glad Cassie's online because I don't have the email in front of me. But to Pokey's point, the House did pass a version yesterday of the Spectrum Auction Authorization Act, which, Cassie, you can fill it in because I don't have the email in front of me if you do, but they are going to say that it's going to take a while to make up for the $10 billion that is needed for next generation across the country. So they're hoping that the Senate will fix that piece of it when it gets to the Senate. But Cassie, do you have anything on that?
Sorry, trying to unmute. I'm pulling up the email now, but I think that's basically it. If I recall correctly, I'm looking through emails now for that particular one.
Thank you. So for NENA Education and Training, NENA does have an on-demand 40-hour training course for new dispatchers. It is titled Telecommunicator Core Competencies. It provides the essential and foundational training that 911 professionals need to deliver effective and efficient 911 service to the public. The curriculum is built to meet and exceed the recommended minimum training guidelines issued by the National 911 Program. If you're interested in that, you can go to nena.org/TCC. In addition to that, NENA has recently launched a Navigating Adversity course, which is a self-care online training course that is an 8-week course that is in week blocks. You have assignments to do each week, and at the end of the 8 weeks, you will have completed and get a certificate for that. That is at nena.org/Navigating Adversity. NENA members also have access every Wednesday for Webinar Wednesdays, and these are free to members. They are an hour long, and they are really, really beneficial. It is always the last Wednesday of each month, and it's a note that says except June, November, and December. Any questions on those? Cassie, were you able to find it?
I am reading through it now, looking for the portion regarding the auction spectrum.
So while she's getting that, NENA also recently launched the Partner in Education Recognition Program, or the PEER program. It honors PSAPs that have an exceptional dedication to education. The first ever PEER certificate recipient center was Hancock County, Indiana, 911. And that is the things to benefit from that, and the requirements are at nena.org/PEER. Any update, Cassie?
I'm looking here, it states in here that it was, let's see, it also includes the Extending America Spectrum Auction Leadership Act of 2022, which will extend the Federal Communications Commission's General Auction Authority for 18 months. That is set to expire on September 30th. Without action, the FCC will not be able to make more airwaves available for 5G wireless broadband services in the rural areas. I'm looking here for more about the other. Let's see. Additionally, the legislation would provide up to $10 billion in future auction proceeds to upgrade our 911 infrastructure. For nearly a decade, Congress has worked to identify a path forward on facilitating a coordinated nationwide transition to next generation 911. Today's legislation brings the vision to life, and I thank their colleagues, Mr. Hudson and Mr. Issue, for the dedication. Finally, the Spectrum Innovation Act also includes the Smart Spectrum Act legislation sponsored by Mr. Guthrie from Kentucky, which will provide the National Telecommunications and Information Administration another tool to help NTIA better manage the use of the spectrum for federal agencies, and it ends at that point.
Melanie, just for reference, that's for House Resolution 7624. 7624.
Thank you. And as all of you know, we've been pushing for years for next generation 911 technology across the country. And the original recommendation was $10 to $12 billion. And then when it went through the first time, they had actually cut that to some million or very, very minor amount for what's needed across the country. So they have brought it back up, and APCO recommended the auction of the spectrum to bring in those monies, and so we're hoping that'll move forward because we desperately need it. All right, EMP certifications. I know Jason recognized EMPs earlier. We always recommend obtaining your EMP certification. That is a very stringent certification to get, very, very hard, but it is very worth it. You learn a lot about telephony. You learn a lot about the inner workings of the 911 center. So I highly encourage anyone to move forward with getting that. I do want to congratulate Lori Anderson, who is our new National NENA president. Lori is from Florida, and she attended our conference back in May, so we were very happy to have her with us. So that is all I have for now. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I think you guys can hear me without me standing up again. We're going to move on to our SWIC report, and I believe we have Amanda Winans from North Carolina Emergency Management online with us. So Amanda, if you have some comments you'd like to say, go right ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Amanda Winans, 24-hour watch manager running under the SWIC. Just letting everyone know that we are working on getting 3 to 4 INTD TERT classes on the schedule between November to March of next year. So those will be posted closer to date, and they'll be spanning from each branch of the state. And then in regards to PSAP degradation, we did have some degradation yesterday evening. So just reminding everybody to be vigilant, and if you know any or notice any changes in call volume or have anybody calling in saying that they had any issues, just make sure you're notifying parties, including the NMAC and up to the state, just so we have eyes on that. But other than that, that's it for this week.
Thank you, Amanda. All right. I've been probably scribbling notes up here like the rest of you on so much that has been shared this morning. So thank you, Melanie, and to Pokey and to Cassie for your remarks as well earlier. A few things I won't touch on again since we've heard from them, but I do want to remind everyone that when we got started this year, Christine and I made a pact that we were going to focus really hard on wellness and health initiatives for telecommunicators this year. I know that is something that is near and dear to my heart and many of our board members' hearts, and most of you here in the room as well, of course. We have our first webinar, which is currently online. That is introduction of a discussion about peer support, CISM resources in our state. Introducing Monica Howard and Rick Baker, who you're going to hear from later today in our training seminar here. You can look for those similar to Webinar Wednesday. We're going to have Mental Health Mondays on the last Monday of the month each month. So please be on the lookout for that monthly series coming out from us. And be on the lookout for some other shorter, less formal things coming out from NENA as well for You Matter Mondays on the other Mondays throughout the month. So just look out for tidbits from us on our website, on social media, and of course in your email. I want to apologize to you guys for bombarding you with emails that you're not used to getting, but one of the things that I also want to try to do is get folks involved in things and make sure that even though we're still sort of in this ongoing pandemic, hybrid, virtual, in-person mix of things, the State 911 Board continues to host all of their regular board meetings and their committee meetings in a hybrid format or virtually all together. And so I would encourage all of you to attend those so that you can keep abreast of what's going on, not only for things that we talk about during chapter meetings, but there's lots to learn from your peers during these meetings, but that's the best and quickest way for you to be involved and make sure that you have a good understanding and a voice and the policy making that goes on there too. So be on the lookout when there's things that come to our attention that are on the agenda that we think you might have extra interest in. We're going to try to send out reminders. We're also looking at getting a calendar invite available that you can subscribe to through NorthCarolinaNENA.org, so you can get those imported onto your calendar. Just a couple other things here. I don't want to speak too much detail on this because I haven't yet seen the language that appeared in the registry or the minutes from their meeting, but a couple of emails went out over the last month from Sheriff's Education and Training referencing some proposed language and a rule change for administrative code that could potentially take effect July next year. As you guys know, July 1 of this year, telecommunicators that work under the direction of the police chief now need to get with this 47-hour state course and certification there. The proposed rule change from their June 7th meeting, as it has been relayed to us in their email, would require that telecommunicators get certified before they perform any duties that actually require that certification. So we've been in contact with a few folks looking to try to get some clarity, and we'll have more on that upcoming, and we'll certainly share with you before the next meeting if we get that. But I would encourage you to be on the lookout for that to be posted in the registry or for information coming from them on that, and stay tuned to make sure that we're all really clear on what the definitions are associated with that. As Pokey mentioned, and Melanie 988 is now live and available. And so if you have questions or comments that you would like to get out there, please feel free to use the app Convene a listserv or contact your board members or any of the 911 board staff for assistance. If you're looking for a policy to deal with, there is a national NENA standard that can guide you through some additional information on there and give you some recommendations for policy making in your PSAP. So I encourage you to go to NENA.org and take a look at that. Speaking of websites, North Carolina NENA's website has gotten a very wonderful facelift, thanks to Stephen Smith from Iredell County here. You guys can't see him in the room. I was about to have him stand up, but for those of you online, you can't see him, but you'll get to meet him a little more here a little later in our meeting. He's been working very hard to get our website up to date with additional pages on there. So I hope if you haven't visited in the last few weeks, give it a visit, take a look there. You'll see feeds from our YouTube channel that is newly created and our social media accounts. So we're still going to continue to focus on our everyday messaging and discussion out through social media, but it's going to get copied and reposted live into the website as well. So if you're in a center that maybe doesn't allow connectivity to Facebook, or you get to NCNENA.org, you should still be able to get information there in good time. All right. Since I'm talking, I'll go ahead and take one of our later items off. The awards committee, we as a board decided we would like to recognize folks throughout the year instead of only at the end of the year at our annual awards banquet. So also on our website, you'll see the form there next week for you to submit on. We are going to accept commendations and award nominations 365 days a year. There will still be a cutoff, of course, to have your nominations considered for the annual awards banquet. But if you have something that happens in your center and you would like to submit a commendation for your staff or for your colleague, please do that. And we will continue to highlight them both online and at our bi-monthly board meetings throughout the year. And I believe that is all for me at this point. So we will run on now to our regional director reports. And first up is Mr. Brian Jordan from the western part of the state.
So good morning. First of all, I want to touch base a little bit more on what Jason spoke about, the proposed rule change. Make sure you get your sheriffs involved because it affects patrol, it affects detention, and it affects telecommunicators. So make sure you get your sheriffs involved and use their power. So reports from across the western part, Stephanie Wiseman from Mitchell County reports that they currently have 2 open positions. Herb Gleason with Hendersonville Police Department reports they are currently down 2 full-time positions. They are in the process of onboarding one that has prior experience. They have recently released a new telecommunicator from the training curriculum, and they're celebrating her success. They are interested in hosting an active shooter class in the near future, and will allow it to be opened up to other agencies, and more to come on that as they go through the process. Corinne from Mecklenburg EMS Agency reports that they are currently down 6 positions and have 4 in training. As of July 1, they increased their starting salary to $20 an hour for a TC with no experience. They continue to place focus on retention, TC well-being, and recruitment. Candy Miller from Iredell reports that they are down 8 TC positions and 1 call taker position, and that's not because of her staff, that's because she got more funding. They recently promoted Supervisor Jason Rackley to their operations manager position, and they are going to be working with Mitchell Community College to a TC Sheriff Standards class on beginning August 18th if anyone needs that. Jeremy Bragg with Polk County 911 reports they're in need of part-time telecommunicator positions. They are currently fully staffed, probably not by the end of this week, just that's the way things go. They have had several successful outcomes with overdoses where both law enforcement and first responders have administered Narcan and by responders. They're in the process of going through their grant project. They have selected an architect. Jeremy be reporting this at the August PSAP managers meeting. And they have 2 large events that they're preparing for: the Night in the Country Carolina Music Festival in late August and the Earl Scruggs Music Festival in early September. Both of them will be held at the Tryon Equestrian Center. Shannon Morgan from Haywood reports that they currently have 1 full-time position. Alan Crest with Rowan Emergency Services. They recently hired 3 new telecommunicators. I still have 1 opening. You can apply through the county's website. Division Chief TJ Brown has been promoted to the Emergency Services Deputy Chief position, and part of his duties will be over the 911 center. He's a lifetime employee with the county and started his career as a telecommunicator in Rowan County. Shabella Bailey with Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians reports they currently have no vacancies, and they've been working assisting other emergency services programs, implementing MDIS online in 70 of their vehicles. Cleveland County Story reports that they currently have 2 open positions. They're actively recruiting to fill them. They recently completed a reporter project with AIS integration. They're starting to work on automated voice dispatch project with MacAlert and Motorola. They have just completed 4 sessions of active shooter with their sheriff's office, and their employees really enjoyed getting away from the office and working with some of the local responders. Chris White with Burke County reports that they continue to work with Motorola on their FlexCAD project. They currently do not have a go live date. Chris was recently promoted to the operations manager position in April, along with Terry Lell was promoted to the quality assurance training officer position in April. Brock Hall has left Burke County to move on to bigger and better things, and Chris is currently serving in the interim director's role. They have 34 positions with only 1 opening. However, with that said, they have 18 in training. That is a nightmare. But they're excited about the future. They've had a lot of changes in the last 6 months. Scott, and I'm gonna butcher his last name, Schiffelbaum with Rutherford County has recently, currently has 1 full-time opening, and they're taking applications for part-time. You can go to their website, or he's got a telephone number they can call if anyone would like it for the first steps in their critical testing. They're in the process of moving to a hosted phone solution. Their project has met many delays, and as of right now, they have a proposed go live date of February of next year. Scott was recently promoted as Greg Dotson moved over to the 911 board staff. And August 1st, Rutherford County 911 will be moving out from under the sheriff's office and becoming a standalone agency. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Brian. All right, next up we have Corey Bodie from the Central Region, and he's going to appear off camera from you guys, but hopefully you'll be able to hear my mic.
All right, for the Central report update, the city of High Point promoted Kyle Dagger to the ops manager. Devin was promoted to the training supervisor. So was promoted to the communications training officer. City of High Point has 4 vacancies with a starting salary of $37,521, ranges to $48,075. Guilford Metro 911 has 14 vacancies. Rockingham County promoted Jason Wood to the operations manager from the database manager effective July 1st. Town of Cary is in the process of upgrading the edit time recorder. They're in the beginning stages of the CAD RMS replacement. And they're in the starting trial of the 911i GPS live video streaming service. They are fully staffed for now. Highway Patrol has 10 openings. Personal message from Marissa is a delayed congratulations to Jimmy from Orange County 911 on his retirement. Samantha Dutch with Scotland County has 3 openings and is looking for a GIS IT employee. For more information, contact Samantha Dutch. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Corey. Bill, do you want to come up, or he can just pass the mic either way? Next up, we have Bill French from our Eastern Region.
Very first report. All right, in Tender County, Jackie Ezell has 3 open positions. If you want to apply, go to the county's website with their HR link. He also had a TC to retire. Sandy Rook, she had 18 years with him and 30 years in total. In Carteret County, Jimmy McKinney reports he has 13 openings out of 27, with 3 in Trump. And if you want to live with the Crystal Coast, then you go to the Carteret County website and apply. And one of the questions we normally ask anybody, wants to be, or you need to be recognized. And he said he wanted to recognize every single person that's working in his center right now. Because they've endured minimal staffing, overtime, with all that, lose time off, yet they carry on. They give exceptional service to the citizens of Carteret County. He's also in the process of updating his dispatch console. Craig County, Stanley County reports he is fully staffed. Two of his TCs, Tammy Marshall Hall and Richard Gordon, were recently awarded their advanced telecommunicator certificate of the North Carolina Sheriff's Education and Training Standards Division. A lot of people don't get that or don't know about it, but it is a significant award. You have to have at least 12 years experience in an associate's degree to accumulate 23 points to earn the award. If you have a master's or bachelor, you have less points. And Richard took it a step further and was awarded an advanced service award requiring at least 20 years of service. Stan is also beginning to upgrade his radio recording system. In Bladen County, Laura Watts reported they are fully staffed and ongoing projects, but she did have two telecommunicators, Beth Singletary and Patty Gamble, to assist in the successful recitation of a 2-month-old child in Sunbury. All right, over in Hope County, Jimmy Stewart reports he has 3 open positions and his interview process with several candidates. He was awarded 2 more seats by the county, he's happy about that. And got another telecommunicators, or a telecommunicator, Tammy Geffler, delivered 2 babies this month. Over in Dare County, Captain Jack Scarborough reports that he was able to get 3 positions approved and 3 open positions. He's already hired 2 and a third is still in the interview process. Jack's current upgrading SCAD to a FlexCAD is going to add automatic dispatch for locution. Martin County, Jason Stewart says he is fully staffed. And over in Robinson County, Chad, these reports of MCC 7,500 consoles in his backup center. He has 4 open positions, and go to the county website to apply for that. And while we're still in Robinson County, we'll talk about long-term communications supply center. We are fully staffed. We're about 3 weeks away from the installation of new dispatch consoles, and they replaced 17-year-old ones. The hydraulics all go quick, so they're tickled about that. Cumberland County, kind of a long one here. Gene Booth reports he has 3 vacancies and 4 in training. Go to Cumberland County's website and apply. And he's moving toward the completion of the new Cumberland County Emergency Operations Center, which he hopes to be in by the fall. Like any of us, he's had problems through supply chain and other things, but his latest is people finding workers like masonry workers. They can't find enough of them to complete some of that project. But he was in a 6,500 square foot place. Now this one is going to be 20,000 square feet. But it's not going to be just him, it's the emergency management, fire marshal, and others. And as far as training, he's working with Federal Technical Community College to help sponsor some local training so his TCs don't have to travel as far. And this is another good too. Over in Brunswick County, Kim Lewis reported she's down 4 positions. Will apply. Go to their county, or actually BrunswickSheriff.com, and go to the employment section. She had 3 of her TCs, Shelley Kai, Andre Rising, and David Kellens, to have a successful CPR safe to their credit, and all have been discharged from the hospital. That's pretty impressive. And they're in the early stages of moving their backup center to a county-owned building. This new building will give them 3 times the space and the size of their agency and the size of their agency. They're looking forward to moving in. She told me it had been a library, a perfume factory, so maybe it'll smell good in there. Yeah, for a little while, that's right. And they're right now going hosted with Motorola Vesta and early stages of that. And they're really lucky, folks. They've got their own, and some of you may have your very own GIS coordinator for your center. You know how important GIS is to I-3. And that's going to really help her. Craven County, Stanley County reports he's one position down. And he's getting ready to start over on the FC 7500 project. Over at Clemens County, Jonathan's hopeful the sheriff standards class will be open soon, because he's got some new part-time staff that need to attend. He's hosting 2 CTO classes in the near future. I believe a date's been set for that. I don't know what to say, but he's going to be hosting that. He was approved for TC1, TC2 positions with every certified TC moved to TC1 effective July 1st and have an application process for TC2 effective January 1st, 2023. And in Pasco Camden, 911, County Filter reports they have just completed renovations of their center. A new radio dispatch console, fiber connection to the core in Farmville. New console furniture, carpet, and paint. Also this week, they have completed installation of an antenna system at one of their tower sites that will provide 2 frequencies separate from the Viper system for redundancy. And the last report I have, Washington County, Anna Johnson reports they have completed their furniture and new equipment installation, and waiting for some parts for their new radios to come in so they can complete the last half of their radio system upgrade to the Viper system. Took me a year and a half to do that myself. It's a supply chain problem. She also said that Hendersonville paid him a visit, and the visit went great. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you, Bill. And real quick, we have one quick petition from Brian Drum.
So this really doesn't apply to my region, but it applies to everybody in this room, especially the APCO board. I didn't want to let this day get by without acknowledging Janet King's retirement coming up in August. A lot of you don't really know how much she's contributed, but over the years, I don't know how many years, she has always been the behind the scenes person with Beth, with Randy, making sure the rooms were flopped in the middle of the night and everything. But her last day is August 31st. I'm sure APCO probably has a little bit more for it, but I just want to make sure that we acknowledge she's just a wonderful person. You receive letters in the mail when something bad happens, it's normally come from her. So I just want everybody to make sure and reach out to her and, you know, show their appreciation, because she is a very wonderful woman that has contributed a lot to both of these organizations. So,
Thank you, Brian.
yes, sir.
All right, next we have our first VP, Ryan Chambers, with a membership report and a couple other things.
Can you go ahead and go through it all? All right, so just kind of echo what Melanie brought from the National NENA report. If you're not a NENA member, I encourage you to join. You're going to be spending about 40 cents a day to be a full-fledged voting member. If you're a supervisor or higher, it is career changing just for the network that you're going to, even if you never attend a national conference, the access that you get to the discussion boards online, to the webinar Wednesdays that they send out every Wednesday. It's a great resource. I know I've said it several times. It's what changed my career, just by paying that $142 and being a NENA member. The amount of people that I've met across the country has been a unbelievable resource. If you are just a frontline TC and you want to be a non-voting member, you can join that now. It's $55. Or you can do a group rate, which if you are a director in the room, I encourage you to look at that. You will save a ton of money just in the discounts on the training that you are offering to your telecommunicators in-house, and also a lot of training that is available for them to take as well. Let's see. Before I go past that, if you are a member and you do have, or even if you're not a member, you have the ability to attend one of the national conferences. You can't put it into words, the experience, what it's like to be in a room of 2,500 to 3,500 people that are like-minded, facing the same challenges as you, going through the same budget crisis that we're all going through, staffing issues, and to sit down in a room and actually talk through these problems and everything like that, and find solutions of what's maybe worked on the other side of the country or in the Midwest that we could also apply here. So before I go past that, I'm going to ask Bill to mention something real quick, because he got to attend the national conference for the first time this year. And y'all love Bill, and we kind of lit a fire under him and told him to track down the right people. So I want him to just take just a minute or two and tell you guys about his experience at the national conference.
Thank you, Ryan. As you know, it was in Louisville, Kentucky. And it was an experience, seeing and meeting all those people, networking with all those people, and finding out that a center in Iowa has the same problems as you have, but they also maybe have some solutions you haven't thought of. I mean, it's, you know, all of us have been to state conferences, but it's, you know, on the largest scale you can imagine, the best speakers, the best training you will ever find anywhere. And it was from nationally known speakers to a couple of country boys from South Carolina that have a very unique program for their TCs, for motivation, even the way they handle discipline. It was really, really good. And also the vendors, you know, the vendors pull out all the stops are there. I believe the Trotto that had Aston Martin. They had an Aston Martin in their booth. Only a Trotto, of course. So you get to see all the vendors and all their products and everything. And it's not all work and not all training. You get to play too in this particular case. One event was held downtown in there called 4th Street Live. 4th Street has a bunch of restaurants and other things, and there's like a cover over it and a stage. So we went down there one night, and the last night they had an event at the museum at Churchill Downs. So that was a nice event too. But you know, if you get a chance to go, you need to go. But Gold Line scholarships, and we may be talking about that too, is a good way to go. They're offered to GCs, and they had 16 left over from last year. Pays all the expenses, or the great majority of the expenses for a national conference. So next year it's going to be in Grapevine, Texas. So I believe brisket is going to be on the menu. And then the year after that, it's going to be in Kissimmee, Florida. And we're hoping, Ryan, I know is working, maybe trying to get one to North Carolina. But while I've got the podium, I want to mention CMCP's development in that. They had a national board meeting that anybody could attend. And I've always felt like CMCP was the course that nobody knows about. E&P is certainly significant and very important. I don't want to say that it's not, but they call CMCP their flagship course. Well, they never recognized CMC graduates in meetings. So I had to open my big mouth, and I stood up before them and mentioned that. And lo and behold, they are planning a course in North Carolina. Most of the courses are everywhere else. So you know, sometimes when you open your mouth, it does good. So that's all I have, Mr. First Vice President.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, we got to Louisville, and for several weeks beforehand, I enjoyed staying in conversation with Bill, because he was like, "What do I expect? Who can I talk to? Who am I going to have access to?" I said, "Bill, I'll open up every door for you. You just get ready to talk." And so when we got there, I said, "All right, that's your national board. Go get it, boy." And I think he chased them around for about 4 days, and you know, they're going to be bringing that CMCP class back to North Carolina. you know, it's great because I will say, you know, not only having Melody on the National NENA board, but the National NENA board is very transparent and open with anyone, no matter what your level in a dispatch center. If you stop them in a hallway at a conference, or if you send them an email, they're very responsive. I know Jason and I were chasing them around the room or that conference center for several days because I'd love to see National NENA conference back here in North Carolina. And we cornered them several times. We actually started that discussion at our conference down in Wilmington with Lori Anderson. And we were able to attend the meeting and actually get the details of that process. So they are going to be sending out RFPs, and we're hoping that we can get the chambers to respond to from Raleigh and Charlotte to try to bring National NENA back here. But the Gold Line Scholarship, Cassie, you correct me if I'm wrong on these numbers, or Melanie, if you have them. I think they gave around 57 scholarships this year, and they did not give away all the scholarships. That was not because there was qualified people that didn't get approved. It was because they didn't have enough people to apply for the scholarship. This pays for everything, if I'm quoting correctly, everything, your food, your travel expenses, your hotel, your registration, and everything. If you are in an agency and you cannot afford to, because it is a high cost, you're probably looking at $2,500 to $3,000 to go to a national conference. If that is not in your budget, find somebody, your telecommunicator of the year, someone who has a life-saving award, someone who you maybe want to prepare for future management or supervisory. Have them apply for this Gold Line Scholarship. To expand on that, there's a couple challenges from the National NENA conference that we got. The chapter that grows the most, I would love for us to be a part of that. We are working our way up, and I will tell you there is a lot of eyes on North Carolina NENA because we were running our mouth big time at the conference, talking about a lot of our wellness things that we're working on. You know, a lot of people talk about our joint conference with APCO and how successful it was. So there's a lot of eyes on us. We want to continue to grow our membership. So please look into that group rate. And I kind of told them that we're also going to raise money for the most money for the Gold Line Scholarship. So I kind of set the bar high for us there at $5,000. So if you guys will help me out, if you have a little spare cash you want to donate to the Gold Line Scholarship, please get up with us. We're going to be doing a couple fundraiser events, which I'm going to talk about here in just a minute. But that is also very important. You know, I was blessed to grow up in a very large agency at Guilford Metro and then go to work at UNC Chapel Hill and then to a vendor. So I was always blessed with the budget to be able to attend a lot of trainings that other agencies are not able to attend. So that's my heart to go into to get some of these smaller agencies involved. I'm going to jump down real quick and while I'm up here and talk just a little bit about the health and wellness fundraising that we are going to do. Yesterday we sat in a room upstairs with the board. You're going to meet our 3 wellness coordinators here in just a minute that Jason's going to appoint to the board. You know, unfortunately, over the past month or two, I feel like every time I log in on Facebook, there's another telecommunicator or somebody in public safety that's either taken their life, left the job so they didn't take their life, or they're having to deal with a tragic event. I mean, we've had Iredell County who dealt with a very serious traffic accident involving a golf cart. Guilford Metro has had their own series of events. New Hanover County had the loss of a supervisor. Us at NENA, we want to try to do everything we can to support these agencies. And those of you who have been through these events know that the first 2 weeks are honestly the easy part because you're flooded with assistance. You have people knocking on your door. You've got food coming flying through the door. You've got people all around. It's the 2 weeks, after the 2 weeks when that kind of initial help fades away, we want to start providing more assistance. So what we have done, and we're going to talk a little bit more, I'll let Jason talk a little bit more about this in a minute, but we kind of threw together a plan. I won't say threw together, there's been a lot of research done. We're going to start doing an annual or up to maybe twice a year, like a peer-to-peer wellness retreat. We're going to try to do our first one in January down at the coast, we hope. We looked at a very nice property down there that we can rent and be able to host up to 15 telecommunicators who need the help the most. Because we all know that this is not cheap. Not all insurances will pay for you to go and get mental assistance like this. And we know that us as public safety need a little bit of special help. It's not normal impacts. PTSD that we experience as a telecommunicator or those of us who work in the field is very different than someone who has just a mental disorder that's walking the street. So we're going to work on getting this together. Again, my part is getting it paid for. This is not cheap, and I don't want to have someone who needs this help to have to come out of pocket more than just a couple $100. So it's going to be an all-inclusive trip. We're going to be pushing out the price, but it will be extremely, extremely affordable. But there is a lot of costs that we need to help cover. The t-shirt down here at the end, we had a local vendor kind of make these for us out of Gibsonville, North Carolina. They gave them to us at cost. We're going to sell these t-shirts for $20. They're $20 a piece, and $10 of every t-shirt is going to go towards these two funds. $5 is going to go to help pay for this wellness retreat, and $5 is going to go toward the Gold Line Scholarship Fund that's going to help us supply this training. So $20 is not a limit. If you want to buy a t-shirt for every person in your agency, or if you feel generous and you want to pay 25 or 30 bucks, anything additional that will go to these wellness retreats. Vendors in the room, keep out for a lookout for me. I am going to be asking for some donations and some sponsorships to help with this type of retreat. But we're looking forward to it. And is that all? All right, if anybody has any questions, last thing, I will tell you guys that for the last 3 meetings, I have told people that I will be getting the EMP. I am signed up in a study group, and we'll be taking the test on, it's in October, I think it's October the 4th. Testing is October the 1st and the 15th. Deadline is September the 2nd. I did join Tracy Eldridge's study group. It is excellent. I have learned things that I have never heard about in almost 15 years of public safety. It is a great piece of knowledge. Whether I pass the test the first time or not, I am learning a ton about the industry, especially the backside technology side. So it's not too late to join one of them study groups. All of the videos from the previous 4 sessions that we've done on Friday afternoons are recorded. You can go back and watch them. And if anybody has any questions about that, we will be here most of the day. So please let me know if you have any questions.
All right. Getting a little tight on time here, so I apologize, Christine, for running over a bit. To take what Ryan said and expand on it a little more, we are looking at these retreats. We are trying to make these retreats as little to no cost as we can. Maybe our goal is to be all inclusive and to have a flat rate included there if we can do that, and to make sure that it's something that is affordable for PSAPs to be able to send folks, or that we can try to cover anything remaining from that with donations or sponsorships. So be on the lookout for more information. It's a big undertaking, so it's going to take a little bit for us to get it all together and nailed out. But as Ryan said, our first group, our goal is for January of this coming year. So for those of you who have never been to a peer support training class or don't know anything about it, this can be one of the most powerful experiences in your life. So I would encourage you to go for your own personal reasons, or to go because you want to care about your friends and family that sit next to you every day. With that, we're going to I want to announce the appointment of 2 new state work groups within North Carolina NENA. For those of you that joined the call that we posted yesterday, that is sort of the format of things that we have in mind for a group called the PSAP Operations and Technology Work Group. We want to have folks that are interested in learning more and interested in getting involved. I encourage PSAP managers of all size agencies, of all lengths of experience, but particularly if you're new to being a PSAP manager, I think there's nothing better than networking with a group of your peers on a regular basis to ask questions, learn about the technology in a little more detail from tech folks, and go from there. As with the meeting yesterday, I'm sure that Christine and I will jointly host things on the fly as important things such as the proposed use of proposed changes to the approved use of funds list comes. But it's a goal for our chapter to shoot for a quarterly PSAP managers call like that, so that you can really hear from what the work group has been working on. So look out for information on how to join that group. But in the meantime, if you have interest, please shoot myself or Rachel Bello an email. She's going to be joining as one of the co-chairs of that group there as well. Our second group is going to be a spinoff of our Health and Wellness Committee, which is newly established within our board and includes 3 of our newest folks that you'll meet in just a moment, and that is the Health and Wellness Work Group. Similarly, we're going to have some regular meetings there so that you have a chance to get involved and talk on a regular basis. And with that, I'd like to move on to our next order of new business here, which is the installation of our annually appointed board members. And so I'm going to introduce our newly created positions of our Western, Central, and Eastern Region Health and Wellness Coordinators or Directors. And I would ask that you guys come on up here, and where's Monica hiding from me? She went to get the food. All right, so we'll get Monica taken care of if she comes back in time. If not, we'll get her offline and you'll see her a little later today regardless. So also we have our newest member, Stephen, if you come up, Stephen Smith from Iredell County, who's joining us as our North Carolina NENA Technical Advisor. Not with us today due to their previous commitments are Jennifer Taylor, who is our Commercial Private Sector Director, and Donna Wright, our North Carolina 911 Board Representative. Although we have previously sworn him in at a board meeting, Vic Williams is with us virtually here today. And so Vic, I'm going to read out the oath for all of you guys here. And at the end, if you accept, if you will please respond with "I will." So if you will just raise your right hands. We have Stephen here and Ashley Warner from Knightdale Police Department, being our Central Region, and we have Kaylee Green from New Hanover County 911 joining us out of the coast for the Eastern Region. Monica Howard here from the Hendersonville Police Department will be our Western Region Director for Health and Wellness. You all have been duly appointed to the office in which you're about to enter by presidential appointment and with the consent and support of our executive board. This appointment bestows upon you confidence and trust and places in your hands the duties of your office as appointed and written in the bylaws of our chapter. You solemnly affirm that you accept this responsibility, this confidence, and this establishment of duty, and that you will support the bylaws of the North Carolina chapter of the National Emergency Number Association and will faithfully perform the duties of your position to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability.
How do?
There we go. I was wondering if we were going to hear you unmuted. And I know you guys can't see him here in the room. Well, I guess you can on the screen. Yeah, thank you for swapping that around. We have Vic with us here today, and I'd like to take a little personal privilege here and recognize Vic for a moment. Vic, you want to talk to us?
Well, they're waiting for me to move to my next treatment room. I've been watching from a neurotherapy chair. For those of you that don't know, I was diagnosed with PTSD when my sister Monica Howard whipped me into shape and said, "You got to call this lady." And it ended up landing me in Florida in a treatment facility, which I'll tell y'all is amazing. And I can't wait to share more with y'all about it. But the one thing I want to say is it's okay not to be okay. Trust me. I was in the lowest point of my life, and this place saved my life. So it's okay to not be okay. Call me anytime. Jason's got my number. Share it with him, Jason, because I'm going to have to jump off and go to the next treatment room. But I'll talk to you from here. I'm going to go see people while I'm out looking for other things here in the next couple of weeks. So I'm sure I'll be seeing some of y'all. So I love y'all. Thank y'all for everything you've done for me. I really appreciate all the texts and all the things to everybody. I found out there's a lot of love out there, and I really thank y'all. Thank you.
We're proud of you, Vic. We talked about this, you were supposed to do this. Folks, being vulnerable like that is really difficult for all of us. But it is stories like that, and each of us have our own story, regardless if you think you have a story worth telling or not, I promise you do. It is things like this that you're going to hear from us throughout the next year, because doing things like Victor has done, as he just said, can save your life or save the life of the person sitting next to you. So as Vic said, it's okay not to be okay. We have a lot of resources in the state already. What we've sort of found is that folks don't know how to get connected with them, or it's right there in their town. They've got somebody in their agency or in the agency they work with locally that's involved, and they just don't even realize it. So we're going to be putting together a list of resources. That's one of the quick things that you're going to see from our group, local resources here in North Carolina. But I also want to encourage everyone here to go to NENA.org, visit the Wellness Continuum site. There is tons and tons of great documentation. There's some NENA standards that can help you form policies. There is resources that come from all over this country, most of which are free to you. And that's going to be our goal, is to get you guys better connected with folks here. You'll hear Monica and Rick talk about in our webinar that's online now from Christine and I, and you'll hear them, I'm sure, say later today in our training. You know, we are going to try to get folks certified in peer support and debriefings, because that is important and needed. But peer support happens every day. It's when you turn to your right or turn to your left and you say, how are you doing? It's when you show up and give a hug, or show up and bring food, or send a card, or recognize people for the good things and the bad things. It's just, it starts with just being a good friend. So please, my phone rings 24 hours a day. Y'all see me carry 2 phones around all the time. If you need something, you call. I can't help you, I promise you I'll get you connected with somebody that can. And as Vic will tell you, we have really great resources. Places like Shatterproof, where he is in Florida, where they not only specialize in helping first responders, that's the only thing that they do. So don't think that just because you're in the job that you do, or someone else is in another public safety agency with the job that they do, that you can't get help, or that folks are understand because of your job and your background. We will match you up with peers who are in a similar situation. Those things are going to be the day-to-day struggles, not the the big things. They're there, but stressors that really get to us can just be the day-to-day things that we all experience as humans. So I know we're running tight on time. I'm gonna think I'm at the end of our stuff here, but please please stay in touch and stay tuned. You're going to hear a lot of stuff from us between now and September, but we're certainly going to have some big updates for you then. Does anyone have anything else for new business for the good of the organization? Any questions or anything before we close? I would gladly entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Thank you. You guys stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute with North Carolina in 10 minutes.